to Minority Report, and I'm your host, Lachelle Smith. Minority Report is a video blog celebrating Black and minority-owned businesses, and our first guest is Patrice Chisholm, owner of Cakes by Patrice. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Michelle.
I'm so glad you're on the show.
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm just so excited. I'm very excited.
And I'm happy that you're with me right now. I'm looking at these cakes. I've been looking at these cakes since I got here, and I want a piece. But wait a minute. So I want you to tell me more about you and what about your business.
Cakes by Patrice was started 1998.
1998.
It's
Okay.
been a good while since I started the business, and I actually started because I'm not going to throw anyone or anything under the bus, but there was an occasion where I had attended, and there was a cake that I looked at. It was not really up to par, and I said, looking at my daughters, I have 3 daughters, and one day they would get married, and what I would want for them as far as a cake, and I was like, I could possibly do that myself, simply because I'm an artist. I've always been into the arts. I've drawn, painted, just did everything under the sun. And for me, it just looked like another art medium. So I tested the waters, went to a couple cake classes.
And the first cake was a wedding cake.
It was a wedding cake. The very first cake. It was a small wedding.
Okay.
But it was a wedding cake, and I did a box cake at that time because I really hadn't gotten into the baking aspect of doing wedding cakes. And it was a lot of, extra classes I had to go to, some things I did on my own. Once the internet got popular, then I was able to go on YouTube and take cake classes online. So as the years advanced, my skills advanced because I was able to build those skills on my own.
Okay. All right. You doing it. I'm loving it. Okay. So what are the other products and services that you offer? Is it just cakes? You do. I know like the cake pop things are popular. I know I've been to one of your other events. I don't know you do the chocolate dip. The pretzels dipped in the chocolate. Okay, so give me an idea if I was to have an event, like what all could I get from Cakes by Patrice?
Cakes by Patrice has spread its wings from the decorated cakes for all occasions to now I have also involved cake pops, the decorated lollipops, as well as decorated cookies. And the decorated cookie portion of my business has been the most recent that I've put under my belt. Very tedious, but yet very rewarding part of the business.
What builds your brand? Like what separates you from all the other like bakeries and catering companies and things like that?
What sets my cakes apart from what I feel other businesses is that I couldn't go into a bakery, so I had to learn a lot of things here at home. And I work out of my home a majority of the times to do the cakes that I do. I'm an artist by nature, so I draw, I paint. So for me, the icing and fondant is just another medium to create art. And I actually have some cakes that I've actually hand drawn with the icing on top of cake. Vivid pictures. I've done one of the president.
Yes, I saw that.
When he was first elected, and that's one I'm very proud of. I've done one with various people on it, and they have been hand done. I've done the seal of Pennsylvania. They were hand done with icing as a art medium.
Like I know, like I can go to like Walmart or a grocery store or whatever, and I can take them a picture. And I don't know how they do like the transfer of the photograph onto the cake, but yours is completely different. You are drawing this artwork. You're actually like mirroring the picture by hand.
Absolutely.
And that's what sets you apart.
Absolutely.
Being an employee, being an entrepreneur, are you balancing or are you integrating? Like you went from working like regular, like 9 to 5 to now going up that, what we call corporate ladder with those extended hours. Like how are you able to balance growing your business and then still trying to move up corporately?
When you're trying to follow a path with your passion, this for me is a passion. working 9 to 5 and going to a job where you need your benefits to take care of your kids. At the beginning, when I first started this business, that was the goal, and that's what I had to do, to work full time to take care of my children. Now my children are grown. I'm at the end of my career as far as the house. I'm at my 35 years. I'm going to be retiring at the end of this year. So now I can concentrate more on my passion, which is the cakes and the cake business, my artistry. At the beginning, they were two separate entities. I had to work part-time to make ends meet. So I always said, if I needed to work part-time, I'm going to do something that I love. And this is one of the things that I fell into, that I absolutely fell in love with, and it has just worked for me. So I would say at one point it was separate. It integrated later on when I started to take my talents to work, and I've been commissioned to do several cakes for the legislature, and so at a certain point it did integrate into the business. But now I'm going to begin to separate it back out. I learned that you cannot start a full-fledged business by working full-time. So that was something that I knew I wouldn't be able to do while I was working full-time. But now, since I'm going to be retiring, this is going to be the second half of my career path, so I'll be able to spend more time on this.
So tell me, what were some of the hurdles that you had to overcome, you know, when you first started in the business?
One of the biggest hurdles that I had to overcome was thinking in terms of how I was going to sell myself personally. Because of that, at the time, the cake business was starting to get very popular, and people were starting to do cakes on television, open up their own bakeries in various places, and I was very afraid that what I was doing could not compete against what everyone else was doing.
I think that's natural.
Yeah,
that's a natural feeling.
I had to find my niche in this whole thing, and with me being an artist, and I felt like the icing and what I could do with the icing was yet another art medium. That's what I actually pulled in for me to make my business unique, as far as putting the art on the cake by hand and being able to transfer from a picture to the cake. That was what I did for myself, and it actually paid off for me.
I mean, that's empowering for somebody else to know, because I think that is a natural fear that I'm not going to be able to compete with these, you know, these other bakeries, or, you know, you're a one-woman show, they have teams behind them. I think that would be a natural feeling for somebody to feel. So, you know, just looking at just the artistry and the level of love and passion that you're putting into this. If somebody needs, I want Cakes by Patrice at my next event, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, I have my cell phone number and an email address, which I have, that people can get in touch with me. Also, my biggest thing has been word of mouth. People know me, I'm out there, so there's word of mouth, and of course, hopefully with Minority Report, and with me being at the end of my full-time career, I can really get out here now and start to market myself and put myself out there. So hopefully this will be a jump off for me. Get my name out there.
I'm grateful that you know, allowed yourself and, you know, to give of your art to Minority Report. And before we close, we're going to go ahead and do the demonstration, because I really want to see how you make this rose, and talk to me about, you know, the different icing and the different techniques that you use and what's good for this temperature. And, you know, if I wanted to try this at home, try is the key word. If I wanted to try this at home, tell me what do I need to do? Like, show me how to make at least a rose. I'm not going to be able to do no beads yet. But I can at least try a flower. Well, if you didn't know that spring was here, it is definitely sprung. Cakes by Patrice has some spring themed cakes here, and she's going to give us a demonstration on how to create this flower and place some bees on these cakes. So tell me, like, what are some of the tools that you need in order to make a flower?
Okay, the flowers are made, these flowers in particular are made with the buttercream frosting. It's just for demonstration only for this, for the video. Normally, if I wanted to make flowers ahead of time, I would make the flowers out of what I call royal icing, and in the industry, it's a consistency of icing that gets very hard.
Okay.
Once it sets, and you can make as many flowers as you want. You don't have to refrigerate, and you can refrigerate them, and you can store them for when the time comes. Because royal icing, you have to prepare your pieces ahead of time before you do the cake. But for demonstration purposes only, we're just going to use the icing, the buttercream. And buttercream doesn't set up or as nice as the royal icing would, because sometimes, depending on the humidity in the room. For instance, these roses, they can turn out looking like cabbage heads instead of roses.
So they bloom pretty big. Okay.
So for the demonstration, I'm just going to take the little orange here. This is called a flower nail.
All right. Flower nail. Okay.
And what I normally do is make a little mountain here of frosting. That's your center. And it's a little warm in here, so it may just wilt just a little. But here's 3 rows of petals that I usually do. And for the demonstration, I'm going real slow because I usually will whip these around real quick. First row is 3 petals. The second row is 5 petals.
Okay. So it's just like almost like a sheet
of
icing.
It depends on your tip that you use. And this is a rose petal tip.
Okay.
And it comes out, it's like a teardrop at the bottom and it's narrow at the top. So it makes the petal part narrow at the top, but thick enough to hold on to the rose base at the bottom.
And then you're turning the flower pin
as you go along.
As you go along. Okay.
Yes. So it's 3 rows, 3, 5, and 7. So the last row, I'm putting the 7 petals.
Okay.
So
and you're doing it almost like in an arch.
Yes.
Going around. Okay.
Yes. And if this was royal icing, we could have it on a piece of paper and set it where it gets hard. But since it is the buttercream, it's going to be very soft. So what I want to do is just take this. We're going to go this way.
Okay.
And set it on a cake.
Nice.
Okay.
Okay.
And then with the green, I usually just come in here and make a leaf wherever I want to leave that.
Okay, now the other tip is called a rose tip. Is that a leaf tip?
This is a leaf tip.
Okay, so that's like the actual name.
Right.
Leaf tip.
There are hundreds and hundreds of tips. And each tip does something unique to the icing, to the frosting, to make whatever design that you want. And so this, and it's like I said, it's a little wilty. We're in a little warm here, so, but just for demonstration purposes for the video, this is how I would make a rose to put on there. And then I have some little pre-made bees for the springtime. Okay. And I'm just going to put a little bit of icing here. These are fondant, and fondant icing helps you to make more 3-dimensional designs for your cake. So I'm just going to put him on top of there since my little rose is a little wilted and give her some life.
Okay, now what is fondant? Fondant I know is icing.
Yes.
But then what makes it like the harder consistency? Does it just sit, or is it a different ingredient?
It's actually a different consistency. It's a rolled icing. It comes in it looks like a big giant piece of marshmallow. Okay. And it can roll out. You roll it out with your rolling pin, and you can take cookie cutters or knives and cut any kind of design or shape with fondant. Okay. It has like an almond base. It's not the best tasting. Everyone doesn't like the taste, but in order to make the designs on your case, you need something a little bit more of a firm consistency to make your designs.
And that's what you use to make the 3D objects.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So bees or whatever else.
Or anything else.
Okay, anything.
These flowers here with the brown centers, the blue, are actually fondant as well. And some people prefer to eat them. I personally tell people, if you don't like the taste, people have already seen your cakes at any event. When you're ready to cut them, just take the fondant pieces off. Okay. And so I use the buttercream as like a glue, and you can put your fondant pieces anywhere you want on your cake, and it just makes for a more colorful cake here. I used the black and yellow for this design because I am a big Steelers fan.
Anybody didn't know Patrice by Cakes by Patrice? AKA Miss Pookie. If you did not know, you would think she's part owner of the Steelers. So the yellow and black is appropriate.
Actually a homage to my team.
Respect to the Steelers.
Respect to the Steelers.
Okay, now if anybody in Pittsburgh sees this, please tell Ben and the rest of them
Come
to
get
order
some
cake. Thank you so much for showing me
Thank
this.
you,
This is
Michelle.
beautiful. I'm so glad to have you on the show. And this is the Minority Report. Thank you so much for being with us. I wasn't expecting all this. They look amazing.
Now this is the ultimate surprise.
Okay.
Because I didn't give you your cake, one of these is yours.
You know how when Oprah said you get a car, you get a car. Like, that's how I feel right now. Like,
That's why I have boxes over there, because I said I gotta give Shell a cake.
oh my God, my inner fat girl is screaming right now. Like, I don't even know if this is gonna make it to the house. Like, oh my God.
You have to share with our cameraman.
I am gonna share with Marcus. He is gonna get some cake. Oh my goodness. Yes.